All right.
All right.
You want
3,
to
2, 1, go.
All right. This is Vvvvvv by Terry Kavanaugh. On the screen on your right is Chad Welly, and the screen on your left is Fiery Blizzard. I'm Metalama, again.
I'm TGH.
And the category that they're doing is 100%, and they've already done the first glitch. In the version 2.0, for player levels when they were added, they added a button, the R button, which gave you the opportunity to kill yourself if you were, say, stuck in a player level, except it was added to the main mode as well, and that allows a couple of very important sequence breaks. So what they did when they killed themselves in the first cutscene is that they did not go to the first level of the game, Space Station 1, and so that allows them to start just going into the overworld already. And now they're going to be heading on their way, after collecting some trinkets, to the warp zone. And we can just listen to some of the music. I believe we have time for a donation or two if you want to now.
If we have one.
Yes, we have $300 from Brian G, who says, always a great event for a great cause. Thanks to all involved. We have $10 from Sideshot, who says, Super Meat Boy was amazing as always, but I've been looking forward to this V-Race. I'm making this donation in honor of Antisocial Fat Man, a great reviewer who passed away just as he started to get noticed. He introduced me to V and many other great titles I'd have missed otherwise. We have $50 from Corliss. Massive props to everyone running V. Played it myself and only died over 2,000 times during the playthrough. Good to see this game back, and good luck to all the runners.
All right, so now they have entered the warp zone. As you can see, the screen scrolls across itself, so there are various ways to go across the level. That's kind of the sort of gimmick that was added to this area. So they'll just be making their way across, doing some very tight movement. That's a lot of this game, is really tight, precise flips up and down. And we are coming up here in a couple screens on a pretty difficult trinket. And the trick here is that these enemies do not have collision when they are off screen. So there's actually a fast strat, and I don't know if I saw. Did you do that, Fiery?
Yeah, I did, but I
don't do
messed
it.
up.
Yep, Chad did not do it, but Fiery did.
Yeah. And so it was a quick way of getting that trinket. And so Chad is going to the end of the level here. And if you want to cover the next trick,
Sure.
TGH?
So you can complete the game in any percent in just a couple of seconds by doing something called telejumping. In 100%, well, that's actually forbidden any percent. No telejumping. So at 100%, you can actually telejump. And what that includes, or what that involves, is it's self-destructing and teleporting on the same frame, so pressing R and enter on the same frame. And what that allows you to do is actually regain control of yourself, like as you're teleporting, and you can actually clip straight through a wall. And you can see they've both done that now. So they both clip straight into lab from the overworld. And that saves a considerable amount of time there. They'll be doing it more times later to save a slightly smaller amount of time, like the clip into the tower is only a couple seconds saved, but it's still time saved, so.
yeah, it saves a lot of time in overworld routing. And there was something that happened a couple of screens ago. Now, usually when you flip into these lines, they flip you up and down in sequence just like that, in like Bernoulli principle right there. But if you saw one, is that they both clipped straight through a line. And that's a glitch called a line clip. And how you do that is that the frame after you hit a line, and the line has to be close enough to the ground to pull it off, so you can't do it on every line. But if you press the flip button right after you hit the line, you would be able to clip straight through it. And that will also be showcased a few times in the final level, whenever we get there, which will be a little bit.
One of the downsides of telejumping, by the way, is that we don't get to hear the lab music.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
no potential of
best song in
anything.
the game.
Oh yeah, this is another one of those games where the music is just incredible. All right, so now that they have finished the laboratory, they're going to be...
Chad's going to do something a little different. He's going to grab the trinket here. I'm going to grab it later.
I believe right now, Fiery's headed towards the tower. What he's going to do is he's going to enter the screen where the teleporter is, which is going to activate the teleporter, and then he's going to telejump into it in order to enter the tower. And you can see he's just clipping through the wall now and going in kind of a humorous way, just kind of clipping up through the wall.
So if you're wondering why I'm upside down and also a television set, if you kill yourself during the cutscene where you collect the trinket from Victoria, you'll actually... It's looking for a sprite, and since you're on screen, it just picks you and moves you to something else.
I think there's a donation that you guys will like. We have $55.55 from Ethan Lee, also known as Flybit. V2.2 dev reporting. Funny story. I kept the game's time step behavior the same as 2.0, worrying that the speedrun community wouldn't like the change. So, whoops. Sorry about that. We'll have to look at that for 2.3. Anyway, shout out to anyone that speedruns the game using an analog stick.
All right, so they're working on collecting the trinkets. And if you notice here, they are purposefully trying to hit the spikes when they're going for some of these saves, or they will be pressing the R button if the spikes don't kill them. That is, it causes the screen to scroll up quicker, and it actually saves a decent amount of time. So in normal any percent or normal 100%, we do not try and go for deathless, though of course we need to self-destruct when going for telejumping, but even without telejumping, it is faster to self-destruct in the tower. And also, just as a note, I don't believe I can hear the donation mics from over here. So both of these folks are now finishing up the tower, and they'll be going to intermission 1. Now, there's actually a way to skip both intermission 1 and intermission 2. It's a very, very, very technical trick to save time, and the route is very inconsistent.
So we're not doing it.
Yeah, it's just not marathon safe in the slightest.
And if you wanted to do it actually quicker, I think I'm the only person who actually did it fully.
Yeah, Fiery Blizzard has the world record in this category with 16 minutes flat in-game time. We use the in-game time because computers run this game at different speeds, and IGT is a way that we can kind of compare runs more accurately. So you see Chad Welly here going for a pretty difficult trick here, not as I do. You're supposed to go to the bottom of that corner and flip up and down to lead, I believe that's Vermilion?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To lead him across the top, but you can actually lead him across the top yourself. It's just pretty difficult to do that.
It's very hard.
All right.
Nice intermission.
Okay, so Fiery is now stopping at the trinket. Who is that again? Is that
Very nice.
All right.
the one who gives you the trinket?
So what I just did
Victoria,
there
sure.
was similar to a telejump. I killed myself on the same frame as I activated the teleporter in the intermission. But I left the room, and after teleporting, I killed myself in a specific time frame, and it actually sent me somewhere way across the overworld. It saves a few seconds. But if you miss it, it doesn't save any time if you get it second try.
Now we get to say hi to the elephant.
Yep. Actually, this isn't 100% race, it's elephant % race.
Yes.
Because there's an elephant in the room.
Yep.
Yeah, seizure warning.
I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be talking about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. And Chad is now on his way to Space Station 2. And like I mentioned before, in the beginning of the game, we skipped Space Station 1. And as it turns out, Space Station 1 and Space Station 2 are interconnected. And you cannot get to Space Station 2 from Space Station 1. However, you can do the opposite. You can get into Space Station 1 from Space Station 2. And even though we skip it right at the beginning, there are still trinkets there, so we do need to backtrack and go back there now. Ooh, when he got a Gordian Knot first try, that's a really tough flip in between those platforms, because you can flip a single frame when you're not on the platform. You can flip the frame that you leave the platform, and that allows you to just barely get on the underneath of that other platform, and it's a pretty tight trick. It's a very annoying room. But the reason why we do that sequence break with not going to Space Station 1 first is an important glitch called the Gravitron skip. Gravitron is probably, if you played the game casually, it's one of the most iconic things about the game, and we don't see it at all in this category. It's also possibly the spot, if you don't do it deathless, that has RNG. But now we've got a really tight race, actually. Both are going into Weni Weni Wiki or doing things the hard way.
Nicely done.
All right, and they both got a first try. As it turns out, if you practice the game enough, that's not actually the hardest thing to do, but it still looks very impressive. So now they've both just entered into Space Station 1, and we'll be backtracking for the trinkets here. They need to get 2 trinkets. And then after that, I'll be explaining what they're doing for the Gravitron skip.
Chad's doing a little bit different routing. It saves like a second if you do it perfectly. But my muscle memory isn't for that route, so I don't do it.
Yeah, it may look like I'm ahead right now, but it'll probably line up after a little bit.
Yes, you have to backtrack for that one trinket, and now they're headed back towards the center space station.
We skipped that checkpoint to save about a second. You just gotta
Okay.
land right on the edge.
All right, so what is going to be happening for the Gravitron skip, I'll start explaining it now, is that when you leave Space Station 1, you encounter a crew member. And that usually starts a cutscene in which they show you on the map where some of the other crew members are. And if you do that, you won't count as having all the crew members anymore. But what you can do is before that cutscene starts, when you trigger the text box, you can self-destruct on the same frame as Fiery just did. And once you do that, you leave the room, just self-destruct again, or just leave the room, and you can telejump then to Space Station 2, right back in the middle of it actually, as you saw that they clipped up. Finish getting the last trinket that they're working on right now, and that essentially, you get the crew member and you skip going to the Gravitron, which wastes a lot of time, and so saves a bunch of time. It's one of the main glitches that's also used for any % no telejumps, the main any % category that we run.
or whatever.
All right, so now
got it
they're
close.
both headed to the
It's
end.
close.
They're both headed to the end of Space Station 2, and we're about to go into the final level, which will have a remix of all the different levels, all the different gimmicks in each level. And so I'll let the music play some while they get through it, and I'll let a donation or two be read as well.
Well, we have a $5 donation from Soli, who says,
Oh,
"Hi,
yeah.
I made the music for V. I like the shout-outs that you like the music, and thought it'd be prudent of me to donate a little and tell people to go www.soli.se to get the soundtrack."
Seriously though, do yourselves a favor and buy the soundtrack. It's just amazing music, and shout outs to him for making it. I remember when I bought the soundtrack, he actually helped me get the files for it because I didn't get the email right. So he's a really cool guy. Really check out his music.
We also have $100 from Chadwelly's brother, who says, "Hey, Chadwelly, good luck on the race today. Won't be able to catch it live due to work, but rooting for you all the same. Hope you cut the 17.
Have fun, Brett.
So this is another place where line clips are used, so you're able to see that a little more accurately there.
Yep, so now the place goes berserk and you have to essentially escape from it. Infamous room for me, personally. Time slip.
Time slip is basically nobody's favorite room.
I love it.
Of course you like it, you're good at it.
Apparently not.
Yeah, as you've noticed, we haven't talked about this, but every room is named, and there's some really funny in-jokes in there that you really should go play the game so you can kind of get all the jokes for them.
So Chad is coming up on time pretty soon. Time ends when the game complete banner comes across the screen in a few seconds.
That'll be for RTA time.
Yep.
But we'll be looking at the in-game time to see.
Time.
Very
We'll be
nice.
looking at the in-game time to see
What, 1704 or something?
who won via that.
1707. Congratulations.
Okay, so 1707 for Chad. Let's see what Fiery's time was.
Probably 1720 something.
1719. Those are pretty good times.
Very nice runs for both.
But yeah, thank you everybody for watching V6. If you're interested in running the game, we do have a Vvvvvv Discord, and we're on there, and we're very helpful, and there's a lot of bad jokes in there too, so take caution. I don't promise any good jokes in there, actually. But yeah, thank you for watching.